Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SNATM. That is SSN at the movies. I am one of your hosts, me, and then down there is Tom. And today we are here to talk about all things films, movies, the good, the bad, the postal. But today, specifically, we are here to talk about Black Widow that was released in 2021 during these times of COVID and pandemics. We got ourselves a brand new action-packed Marvel movie. Tom, first of all, how are you doing, sir? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
We unfortunately were not able to do this on Sunday. A mix of schedule and plans changing on both ends has caused us to do this on Monday, which gave me more time to actually watch the film and not rush it in the middle of the night. I was able to watch it this morning right before we went live and I can get some facts going. You have had the pleasure of watching it twice now, correct?
Yeah, I have.
Now, as always, we have a lot to talk about. For those who may be worried about spoilers, heads up, this is a Marvel movie. It's a prequel-ish Marvel movie in the sense that it takes place after the events of Captain America Civil War. You know Natasha's gonna die. You know it's not gonna be in this movie though. So don't you worry about that. Overall, Tom, how did you feel about this film? What were your initial thoughts and feelings after watching it the first time?
I mean, it's a entertaining movie. I don't believe this is the last stop for Black Widow. I don't believe this is what it should have been. She deserved a better movie than this,
Would
but it was all right.
Yeah, and that's where I'm kind of falling on. This movie was all right. If this film would have come out back when, Civil War came out, like maybe a year or two afterwards, this would have been a banger of a film to continue on the story and legacy of Black Widow. But as it stands, being released now in 2021, where Natasha ends up, she ends up at the bottom of a fucking hill, her head cracked open.
Yep.
You know that she's gone. You know that whatever happens in this film literally has no consequence or meaning except for like the last 5 minutes of the after credits. That's it.
Yeah.
Like this film is very much a safe play, and I get it. I get it. It's a safe play by Marvel and Disney. It's a film that people have been wanting for a very long time. People have been
Yep.
craving for a Black Widow movie. Goddamn right, fucking Scarlett Johansson deserved to be the lead of her own film, especially an action film. Yeah. This one just
It was like, hey, okay, here's a movie. We'll do this. That's how it felt to
yeah,
me.
yeah. And
It wasn't.
it's funny because like last week or this past Saturday actually, we talked about something on the podcast on the SSN podcast where it was something that bothers me in action films that is more done so in the past. I was saying they're kind of weaning it out now, but Hollywood likes doing these very fast cuts, these chaotic cuts during action scenes, and it doesn't. I know it's supposed to add the emotional impact of like, oh my god, they're stressing out, to the camera stressing out, and it makes you feel stressed out because you're now in the same kind of mindset as the star. But what it ends up by looking is extremely clunky and just fast editing that kind of blurs what you're supposed to see or feel. There are certain scenes in this film, and two of them that really like stick in my mind. The initial interaction between Natasha and Elena when they first fight it was very reminiscent of like the Bourne Identity fighting scenes, where like it was cut, and it was clear because there wasn't as much. Maybe it wasn't because like the actors didn't get as much time to choreograph their fight scenes, so they couldn't do a lot of these on their own, being in the shot, or it could be because it's fun fact, the director Kate Shortland, I think is her name. Hold on, I have it all written out here. Kate Shortland. This is her first action movie ever. So it could be also up to the fact that the director doesn't know how to shoot action. especially hand-to-hand
Maybe.
combat or like chase scenes, because there are certain parts where like they're driving down and boom, out of the blue, here comes Taskmaster. Okay, cool, fine. They go down this tunnelway, and now for no reason they're being chased by motorcycles, and it's like, but wasn't Taskmaster just where did this widow come from? Why is she like? There was no explanation that they were being chased by motorcycle widows. All that you knew was that you're being chased. Well, there was one scene you saw a widow was chasing them, and then they took her out with the motorcycle. But that was the only one that you saw. And then from there, it was Taskmaster driving the APC chasing them. And it just I don't. And then let's also talk about, since we're on this train, Tom, about the quote unquote villain of this film, Taskmaster, which is apparently one of Lib's favorite villains of all time in the MCU or in Marvel in general, excuse me. Because Taskmaster, for those who don't know, has the uncanny ability of watching someone fight once and is able to mimic and copy and know how to counteract those moves right away after watching them only fight once. And their answer to this in this film,
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, that was honestly one of the most disappointing parts of this movie. The entire lead up to this Black Widow film, we're like, who's Taskmaster? What's this Taskmaster? And they make him look so badass.
Yes.
But I feel like it just fell flat.
And
like I didn't care about it.
Yeah. They turn, and we're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. The story in this film, for those who don't know, basically is Scarlett Johansson's playing Black Widow gets involved in a whole widow program again from the Red Room, accidentally, sort of, in a sense, as she herself is trying to run from Thunderbolt Ross, which was awesome to see that man again. I love that actor.
Yeah,
awesome actor. It's nice to see him again in the role. And it's supposed to be like, oh, it's just high pace. Here we go. We got to run from these people. You see them for 5 minutes at the beginning of the film, and then you see them for 5 minutes at the end of the film. That is it. After that, everything in between, you never actually see Natasha Romanoff being chased by the government, by the U.S. government, by their agents or anything. It is.
I think
an afterthought.
Yeah, I think for that, like especially the opening scene where she's taken off away from them.
Yeah,
I think she's clearly multiple steps ahead of Thunderbolt Ross's crew.
Yes,
and I think that's why you don't see them for the rest of the film.
But like, it would have been nice to see like maybe a cut to them trying to figure out, oh well, there was this disruption that happened in Budapest, and like, what is that, Natasha? And they're like, oh, who else could it be? America? Go find out who that is. Like, they could have done something, like, right? Because like these guys aren't dumb. They have an idea as to where Natasha might be. That's why they tried to track her to that one spot, because they had a tracking device on her that she got rid of. But at the end, like, there's no. The only other time is finally when she wants to be found. She pretty much notifies them where she's going to be, so that they can arrest.
You think the giant falling thing? I don't want to spoil it yet, but you think that has nothing to do with them finding her?
God, dude, it's so weird. But let's get on to some of the basics before we talk more about the story. So Black Widow released in 2021 in the month of July. I couldn't get an exact date, but I'm pretty sure it was the first Friday of the month of July that this movie was released. So that would have been July 2nd. It had an estimated budget. Again, because it's Disney and it's an online platform, it's been very hard to get some of this information. But an estimated budget of $200 million with a box office roughly, again, estimated in total of $140 million. Now, again, this movie just came out. $80 million of that budget, or of that profit, came from going to the movie theaters, which really, it's the States and some other countries that have their theaters open. So the fact that they were able to make $80 million off that, so impressive. And then another $60 million was from just Disney Plus new subscriptions, because they
was it new subscriptions or rentals?
Well, the new subscriptions and rentals, I guess, is a combination of both, because you had to pay in Canada $34.99 plus taxes if you wanted to watch this film now. And I understand Disney's idea with this. It did the same thing with Reign of the Last Dragon and then the Mulan live action film, where it's like, oh, well, you'd probably spend like, $40 in theaters anyways, because you got to get your movie ticket for you, your significant other, or your kid, popcorn. So really, we're saving you money. No, because we paid $89 or $119 now if you pay for the year subscription for this service, for this online platform. The idea of paying more for a film really irks me. I did it for SNATM. I did it because I want to support Scarlett Johansson, because I think she is an amazing actor. But did this movie deserve $34.99? Fuck no. This movie would have deserved exactly what Luca got as a treatment from Pixar, which is just release it right away for us to watch. That would have been fine. But they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing.
They want that Marvel money.
Yeah, right? All right. All right, so, like I said earlier, this film is directed by Kate Shortland, whose film, her filmography is very not action. Films like Lore, Berlin Syndrome, and Somersault. It is not a film about action and explosions and stuff. It's more about like exploring the human mind and emotions and getting like, you know what I mean, overcoming obstacles of like prejudice and stuff like that. Not ass kicking it and blowing up shit. So it was a big departure for Kate Shortland here. The film stars, also the editing, I didn't even bother looking at the editor or the music because it was blech for me. It was too blech. And I don't want to shit on editors and music composers because I know that they work hard in films. The film stars, Scarlett Johansson, for those who don't know, known for the Avengers franchise, Eight-Legged Freaks, because I needed to add that one.
Really?
Yeah, dude, I love Eight-Legged Freaks. It's such a good bad movie. It's so
I completely forgot about that fucking movie.
Right?
Wow.
Oh my god. So Eight-Legged Freaks, her, and Ghost World. She's been in so much more. She's been in a bunch of Paul Thomas Anderson films, like a bunch of them. You definitely should check her out when you check those films out when you get a chance. The other leading role would be under Florence Pugh, I think is how you say it.
I think it's Poe, but I don't know.
Yeah, so Pugh, Poe, Puff, it's your choice. She's a Powerpuff Girl. Known for some of her work in The Falling, Marcella, and the upcoming Hawkeye TV show where she reprises the role of Yelena, excuse me. Stars also one of my favorite actors of all time, Rachel Weisz. Why? Because she's in the motherfucking Mummy, and the Mummy Returns. Goddamn right. It's so good. If I'm not mistaken, she was also in I think she was in the remake of The French Connection, if I'm not mistaken. The Fountain, The Constant Gardener. Like, Rachel Weisz is an actor. You know what I mean?
Yes.
She is what you think. Like, she is the modern day Judi Dench, the modern day Judy Greer. Not Judy Greer, sorry, that's Halloween. Oh my god.
Judy Greer.
Sorry. You're a good actor too, don't get me wrong. Judy Greer. But you're not who I'm thinking of right now. The lady that was in Red, Retired and Extremely Dangerous.
Helen Mirren,
thank you. Like, she is of that caliber, 100%. Also David Harbour, another one of my favorite actors around, known for Stranger Things. The one role for me that really broke out for him besides Stranger Things was his portrayal of the CIA agent in 007 Quantum of Solace. He's like the brash piece of shit agent that tries to strike a deal with Green.
That was like his role at the time.
Yeah,
like that was the character he played before he got the Stranger Things. Like he did the same thing in Suicide Squad. He was that asshole agent. But anyways,
so good. I love him. Also, he got super built for Hellboy. Like, the dude got jacked for Hellboy. Unfortunately, I haven't watched it. People have not liked Hellboy. That might be a movie down the road that we can review and take a look at. And again, like, it doesn't stop here. Ray motherfucking Winstone's in this goddamn movie. Like, again, an actor's actor. The man who was in Beowulf, The Departed, Sexy Beast, Cold Mountain. Like, this man has a hell of a career. Okay.
He's quite literally the best bad guy to have ever been, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like, he plays bad guys to a fucking T.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect for the role.
Yeah, he did such a great job here. Obviously, so Ray Ridstone, David Harbour, and Rachel Weisz. I mean, everyone here that I mentioned had to do Russian accents, and for the most part, you know, David Harbour had that like pretty generic Russian accent, which wasn't bad. Rachel Weisz sometimes accidentally slipped to back to her like her native tongue when she tried to do the Russian accent, which has made me laugh. Florence Pugh Puff. All right, this Puff here. All right, this Florence Puff did an amazing job with the Russian accent. I think she did a great job with it. ScarJo, she did a good job as well. Just Ray Winstone again, like they were able to land those accents pretty well. For David Harbour, I mean, I think it was made purposefully for him to do that because he was the Russian Captain America, right? He was the Red Guardian. So like, how can you not have that character, a bombastic, chauvinistic dude, not have that shitty, hard fucking Russian accent? Like it's perfect.
And he's a caricature of Russians in general. Like he did it awesomely. But
yeah. Oh yeah, a really really good job. A little bit of trivia. This is where, you know, it gets a little bit rough, but like, let's see what I got here. Because again, this movie just came out, so a lot of this stuff is like, oh, David Harbour played a character named Alexei in Black Widow, and in Stranger Things, he arrests someone, a Russian named Alexei. Interesting. Yeah. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Like, come on.
I saw that too. What a stupid fucking trivia.
Yeah.
What does that have anything to do with it?
Right, nothing at all. Scarlett Johansson describes the film, and this is where I disagree, as its own genre, and even named Logan as an influence. Don't ever do that. Along with The Fugitive and Terminator 2 Judgment Day. No.
What?
No. Like, I'm sorry. The first 5 minutes is maybe The Fugitive. The explosions might be Terminator. There is no Logan in this film. Okay? There is no... Don't you ever dare bring Logan up ever again.
I wouldn't even say that T2 was anywhere even fucking close to this movie.
Yeah.
If this was a T2 of fucking Marvel, it would have been amazing.
Oh my god, dude. It's again on July 6, 2020. It was announced that Marvel studio executives, including Kevin Feige, were impressed by Florence Pugh's performance as Yelena Belova, that they plan to include her in future MCU films, and she may even become the new Black Widow. In fact, Feige stated that this film was written to showcase Belova as much as Scarlett Johansson's Natasha Romanoff. I don't know. I guess. Like
I think so.
They tried to make her look like Natasha's equal, which I think a little bit more time with her would have been a lot more interesting. But for the most part, you know, it's okay. It was okay. I do like the fact that they want to include her more into the franchise because I think she does. Florence does do an amazing Yelena, and I would love to see more of her. And then this is a fun fact. This is going to be Scarlett Johansson's 9th time playing Natasha Romanoff / Black Widow, if you include Captain Marvel. So she has played this character 9 times now, which is bananas. And then finally, this is where like I read this and I'm like, yeah, no shit. Both Scarlett Johansson and Marvel expressed interest in a potential solo film several times over the following years before development and progressed with the hiring of Jack Schaefer and Kate Shortland in 2018, even though Shortland has no experience in directing big-budget action films. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. Like I said before, this is probably one of the film's greatest weaknesses is its action sequences. I think the dynamic between the actors and actresses are strong. Like I love seeing, you know, Rachel Weisz, David Harbour, ScarJo, and Florence all together. I think that was fun. But for the most part, everything else, like the action was okay. It wasn't really, I don't know. It was clear that it wasn't this person's forte. And if this gives, you know, Kate Shortland an opportunity to make more and evolve her game, then fuck yeah, let's go. It's just unfortunate it had to be on a Marvel movie. And my biggest thing is they did this in a sense because they wanted to have a female director lead the film to help more so that the film was more not sensible, because that's not the right word, and not sensitive because it's also not the right way, but to be more focused on the character just being human instead of being a sex figure, or having outlandish scenes that would not be portrayed naturally for a woman, right? Yeah. And they kind of make fun of that in the film every now and then with like the ScarJo's poses and stuff when she would like land and whatnot. Yeah, but nonetheless, the story of the film goes as follows. Scarlett Johansson is on the run from Thunderbolt Ross and his goons because she has disrupted or went against the Sokovia Accord agreements, and herself with every other Avenger minus like, you know, Tony's side is on the run or has been captured. We know this because they talk about it at the beginning of the film to understand this is what's happening. We also know that before all that, there's a prequel shot of like Ohio in 1995 where they try to set up the dynamic between Rachel Weisz, David Harbour, and their two kids, Natasha and Yelena, and how everything kind of works out. You see them get together, they're having a good time. One scrapes their knee, Natasha walks away. You're like, oh my god. Then Mama's like, don't worry about it. You're all gonna get pain. It only makes you stronger, so you're gonna get good. You're gonna get better. Later that night, there's a disruption when David Harbour comes back home and says they gotta go. They only have an hour. They pack their shit up. They leave, and then we get our first action sequence where we see them arrive at a dusty old airfield, and they start getting rushed and pushed by SHIELD agents. You think they're just cops, but then on the side you see the word SHIELD on there. And I was thinking, oh, maybe we're gonna see maybe more like Agent Coulson again, or like maybe some Sam Jackson again, you know, because they did that for Captain Marvel, because Marvel was set in the 90s. No, we don't get that at all. We also get no connections at all towards Captain Marvel or any mention of anything like that in this sequence, which makes sense because it's short. It's like, what, maybe 10 minutes of the film? This whole...
Not even.
Yeah. Like, it's this action scene. They get on the airplane. They go to fly off. David Harbour's hanging on the wing of the airplane, shooting cars, and they're flipping around, doing their dippy stuff. Rachel Weisz gets shot in the arm. They take off. They land to Cuba. And then this is where you see Natasha just engage in her killer instincts. And I hate kid actors because they can't act. And she does this moment when they land and they're like trying to take care of Rachel Weisz, and David Harbour's chilling with Ray Winston, and they're all talking to each other like, yo, Red Guard saved the day, baby. We got the files. We burnt it down. Look at us.
I think they did a really good job at this part, though.
Yes.
Because they really showed how fake the family was the second they like landed. That. And when they were still in the States, it seemed like they were like this close-knit family. We got to get out of here. Everyone's in danger. The second they land, David Harbour's character is like, oh, whatever. Screw the chick who's bleeding out on the ground. Yeah. I want to be the Red Guardian.
Yeah. Like, let me get back into it. I miss it so much. Where's my suit? Type of thing.
Yeah. Fuck that chick on the ground.
Yeah. So the Rachel Weisz gets taken away, and then they try to separate the two kids. And this is when little girl Natasha's like, ooh, I'm big and strong and mean. Ooh-wee, look at me. Comes in with the dumbest kick I've ever seen, the slowest thing. And somehow disarms a Russian fucking Spetsnaz motherfucker and holds the gun and like, don't, I'll shoot you. I'll kill you. I'm a little girl with a gun. I'm dangerous. And David Harbour's like, yo, what are you doing? Stop it. Listen to me. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Relax. She says, I don't want to go back to the Red Room. She's too young. She's only 6. With David Harbour saying, you were even younger when that happened. And then they both get needles in the neck, the little girl, like Yelena and Natasha. And he takes the gun, and just that's the end of it. We then get this kind of interesting montage. I hate the montage, I'll be honest, actually. I'll take it back. I hate the montage. I think the montage is garbage. But we get this cool
music.
The music, though, is this awesome rendition of It Smells Like Teen Spirit. And it cuts through like, oh, this organization was responsible for this, and Ray Winstone was talking to Bill Clinton, and they have influence everywhere, and they're the ones who caused this, and they're the ones who caused that. With like these really dumb cut up like little aiming reticles would go onto a certain location, then zoom hard cut into it, and then destruction now, but we really can't show anything because we're Marvel and we're still PG, so we can't really show people dying. One of the more interesting parts is they actually do show in this montage of like girls being put in these containers and then being separated from one another. And you get Winstone literally saying, collect the 20, kill the rest. They don't show up, but they actually do refer to these girls who are captured and abducted, the ones who don't make it. They do just kill them, and you get it. They actually talk about it in that montage, and then you see like little faces like red eliminated, and then the ones that are still alive, ooh, you're the strong ones. And then their training involves them watching aggressive 1950s and 30s cartoons, which is weird. I don't know why they had to sit down and watch those, but they did. Sure.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah. At one point, they're literally just sitting down watching fucking, CRT TVs, and they're just watching like a cat aggressively attacking a mouse, but it's like all cartoons, and it's cartoon this, and I'm guessing it's supposed to be their version of indoctrination to explain that this is what they did for Black Widow. She was psychologically broken down and, rebuilt to become the perfect assassin. Versus when we find out Yelena, she was chemically altered, where like they did something to her brain where she has no control over what she wants to do. She basically becomes just a vessel for the Red Room's doing, Ray Winstone's doing, versus Natasha, who had her own free will, but it was quote unquote taken away and stripped from her, and she is now a broken individual, right? And you see a lot of that in the the Avengers series of how they treat that. It is now, like I said, finally we flash forward to her running away because she's trying to avoid the Thunderbolt Ross. She's actually like in Norway while he's like trying to get her somewhere in the States or something like that, having a phone conversation. She gets put up inside of this old fucking RV. She meets up with her buddy who is a contact who like gives her whatever she wants whenever she needs it. Yeah, what's up?
So here, it's like they tried to make this a 007 movie.
Mm-hmm.
They basically gave her a cue with the Mason character. It's hilarious. And then 2 seconds later, you see her watching Moonraker on the fucking TV in the trailer.
Yeah, it's
definitely played up.
Yeah, they tried to make it more spy thrillery, I know, as best they could. At that time, you also find out that Yelena, who is a full-grown woman now, is assassinating another person. To the Red Room's just through the Widow program, excuse me. And they catch the person that they want their target just before she kills her, or she does kill her. She stabs her in the gut and like turns the knife in her. That woman splashes like a red dust in her face, and it awakens her pretty much. And she realizes what she's done. She actually killed one of her friends. She's all sad about it. They're dead. The other widows are like, yo, Yelena, respond. Oh, team leader, Convergent team leader, she's been compromised. She stabs her leg, rips out what I'm guessing, what we find out is like a detonation device, I think. Or like a kill
I thought it was
switch.
A tracker or something.
Maybe. See, this is where it gets weird, because there's a scene in the future where there's a widow that's on the ground and she's all busted up and ScarJo's trying to talk to her. And you then get to see the shot of like Ray Winstone, I guess somehow seeing what's happening. And then they focus on her leg. Like there's like an x-ray of this widow's leg where the tracker is. And he hits a button to activate something, which then forces her to grab her little gauntlet thing and like fry herself in the face. So it made it look like that was like the kill switch kind of thing, but also with the tracker maybe. It could be both. I'm okay with that.
I didn't notice that, but okay.
It could be, right? You never know. Like that could be one of the things. But anyways, she cuts that out of her leg with a terrible CGI wound you see for 2 seconds, and she runs away. This is a $200 million budget movie. I got a couple of bones to pick with this fucking film. One of them is the fact that they use so much CGI for fight scenes and stuff that it just so disappointing. It's so disappointing. Yeah. I miss the wire foo. Give me Matrix fighting again, please, where the actors are actually fighting, or at least it's cool stunt people doing amazing stunts, and it's not covered up by gross, weird body morphs of body like flipping in the air and stuff, or exaggerated motions. I want to just see the fights with good camera work. I want that again. Anyways, she runs away. She takes that weird red mist that exploded in her face. There's a bunch more, and she brings it to Budapest, and she ships it out. At this point, when it gets shipped out to out of Budapest, Ray Winstone activates the Taskmaster protocol. And it's this person who's sitting down in a room watching. I don't know how they have this camera shot, but they have a camera shot of Clint and Black Panther fighting at the airport. I don't know how they have this shot, but they have it. And Taskmaster is learning the ways of Clint and fucking Black Panther. We can't just let the audience know that they just know this, and then they can explain later down the road, oh, it's because Taskmaster learns his abilities, like they already explained later down the road. No, they have to physically show us. And again, I know that I said that sometimes the audience is dumb. The audience isn't that dumb. Well, we need to see them learn the abilities that they're about to use in 10 minutes from now. Come on. Stop it. Stop it. All right.
Just spoon-fed.
Yeah. There's a difference between, dribbling hints and stuff, and like you said, literally being forced down on a chair and then the spoon shoves into your mouth. There's a big difference. Regardless, we then end up by having Natasha chilling in that RV, and then Mason's like, oh, I grabbed yourself from Budapest, you can go ahead and check it out if you want, or destroy it or whatever. Oh, you're such a loner girl, but you're sensitive, I can tell. And she's like, I pay you to be my worker, not my friend. Get out of here. And then she breaks down emotionally. And you see that so many times in this movie, and I fucking hate it. She is a strong individual who was able to outthink and outsmart with her emotions and her mind fucking Loki in the first Avengers to figure out that they wanted that he wanted to use the Hulk to get at everyone inside the Quinjet, or inside the whatever the helipad thing.
Yeah.
This woman is seen almost breaking down in tears every fucking 10 minutes, and I hate it. That is not the character. That is just them trying to make her look weak and not superhuman when she fights with the fucking Avenger. She's an Avenger, for Christ's sake, okay? Human flaws are acceptable, but don't let it happen every 10 minutes.
Yeah, they did a lot to make her seem super fucking weak in this movie.
Yeah. And
depressingly.
Yes. And it's like, you just need to, you can have the moments. You can have the moment when, like, she meets Yolanda for the first time again after so long. You can have it when she's reunited with all of her quote-unquote family. That would be a good time to have those moments, but not, like, every fucking 10 minutes, man. Like, you just need to chill. And this movie is 2 hours and 15 minutes. So those 10 minutes, there's a lot of them, okay? There's a lot of those moments. And regardless, she sees this weird pack, or she grabs all the mail that she had from Budapest that Mason gave her, and decides to drive out and go trash it. When she does that, she just out of the blue gets struck by something. I think it's an arrow or something happens where she gets shot. And it's so sudden, but it's not like a spooky sudden. It's just like the sound mixing wasn't right for the big explosion. It's just like she's driving and then and she goes flying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? What just happened? What just happened? Why is this? What? So she gets out of the car before it falls off the bridge, and there's Taskmaster. We get our real introduction of Taskmaster, who has a little shield, who whips it at her like Captain America. And you're like, oh wait, why does this guy move like Cap? That's weird. This could have been interesting to find out later down the road. Not only in the fact that we just learned this like 10 minutes ago, but whatever. Slow walking towards Natasha. She gets out of the car, tries to shoot him, holds the shield up just like Cap does, deflects the bullets, and they start fighting. She tries to do her Hurricanrana on him, which then Taskmaster counters the Hurricanrana with a Hurricanrana of their own, and that was kind of cool to watch. They're at a stalemate where they both look at each other in the same position, the same posing and whatnot. And it's clear that this individual has Natasha's number, but then she's like, "Oh, you're not here for me. You're here for whatever that is over there. The box that Yolanda stole, and I guess shipped it out to Mason to give to Natasha." And they go, and it has a kind of a brilliant move where she uses her little grappling hook thing to tie Taskmaster's leg, tie him up to the ceiling. The Taskmaster goes up flying. She grabs the vials of the canister thing, the box. He cuts it, lands kind of cool, and then just like boots her. I don't know if he boots her or just like fists or like palms her in the chest, and she goes flying into the river.
I think it was a kick. But
okay, yeah. So kicks her all the way into the river, and then she floats away. And I'm here thinking, How do they know where this is? Oh, there must be a tracking device in there, but they never say that in the movie. That is up to you to assume. Again, I'm all for getting tidbits of information. Like they could have had like a flash, something to indicate that this thing is being tracked, or somewhere in Ray Winstone's red room is like, oh, this person, don't worry, we could track the box. That would have been fine. Again, they don't have to force feed it, but just give us something to let us know that that's how they're tracking this.
Taskmaster was just this be-all, end-all super fucking villain and can figure out where anything is at any point in time.
Right. So, regardless, Romanov decides to get up, travel to Budapest, goes into her old hiding place, and she meets up with Yelena, and they have a very interesting interaction with one another. Kind of a cool cutscene that, again, the fight scene between, I say cutscene, the fight scene is pretty gnarly. They're like back and forthing each other, like pretty much stalemates. It's fun to watch, and then they decide to finally chill when other enemies come by and attack. And just before that, they start talking to each other, and this is the issue that I've had with a lot of Marvel movies as of late. And we talked about it on the podcast, but I'm gonna talk about it again. Not every fucking scene of tension needs to be broken up with comedy. The first 30 minutes of this film didn't have comedy, and it was fine. When you had, the Romanov family running away, escaping, that action scene on the airstrip, them landing in Cuba, none of that had comedy, and it was fine. But now that you have your two main leads together, every moment there is tension, it is immediately broken up with some stupid joke. One that was funny once, and then when you drag it out six more times in the film, does not make it funnier.
Yeah.
And the thing that I'm talking about is when Yelena makes fun of Scarlett Johansson as Natasha, when she lands on the ground and her legs are spread and she's doing like the weird Spider-Man thing. Like, she's like, why do you do that? I know it's a pose. You're just a poser. You're a poser. And every time Natasha lands from a high jump or whatever, she does something similar, and Yelena just calls her a poser. And that's always the joke that happens there. They meet up. They decide, oh, well, we got to figure out what's going on. Yelena's like, well, it's clearly Ray Winstone from the Red Room. She's like, nah, I killed that bitch. No, you didn't. All you did was kill their daughter. What? He's still alive? Then I guess we're gonna go find Winstone. How are we gonna do that? We're gonna go find the one person who knows. Let's go find Daddy Dearest. Cut to some Siberian. Well, they do some they have the escape where they run away from these people. Taskmaster is chasing an APC. We have that motorcycle part that I talked about that I hate so much. There's this moment that they clearly show that it's only Taskmaster, that is a hard fucking word to say when there's that many S's. Taskmaster is clearly hanging out in the APC by himself, all right? But at one point is able to pop out the hatch, whip out an arrow. No one's driving this fucking thing, okay? And
that's cruise control.
Tom, you and I both know that cruise control does not work this way.
Have you driven a fucking APC?
I think I can honestly say there's no way that an APC has a locking mechanism to just drive straight perfectly down a narrow path, going the speed I can accept. Because cruise control is just you set the speed and then you still have to fucking hold the steering wheel. Doesn't matter. Gets out
while smashing fucking cars the whole time too.
Never deviating from your path. But Taskmaster is able to fucking step out, throw an arrow, blows up the car. They go flying. They find a way to escape because they go through a subway system and with a blood trail fake their way down a tunnel hatch in the subway when really they went above in the air system. And then they very briefly talk about how Clint and her hung out there once because you saw X's and O's they were playing tic-tac-toe up there once because they were there for weeks. Regardless, they meet back up with Mason, they get them a helicopter where they're like, well, this is not the jet we wanted. And he's like, bitch, you gave me like 2 days notice. I can't do this fast. It's not possible. And then we get more of the little jokey jokes where it's like, oh, you're so sensitive. Oh, you're this, you're that. Da, 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 da. And they're both doing it back and forth towards one another. Yelena joins in on the fun to make fun of Mason. They go and fly over to like a Siberian prison where David Harbour's been chilling the whole time, the Red Guardian, Alexei. and he's just beating people left and right in arm wrestling matches while regaling the tales of how he once defeated, or at least fled from Captain America. And every opponent that comes by, and as he's telling the story, he's just boom, beats them, boom, beats them, boom, beats them. Big giant burly dude shows up and is like, what year was this happening? He's like, I don't know, like 84 or 86. Can't remember why. And big burly dude's like, oh, well, Cap was still under the ice at this time. And fucking Alexi's like, are you calling me a liar? And then just while they're doing the arm wrestling thing, just literally shatters his fucking forearm and gets all floppy.
Yeah.
Mail call. Oh, what's up?
I have a theory here. Now,
Okay.
I've read it on Reddit. Do you think he actually fought a Captain America?
I think he fought a
Or do you
Captain America. I think he fought a super soldier that they tried to make. Because again, don't forget that we found out in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, they tried to continue with the super soldier serum, and they had Isaiah Bradley become one of them, right?
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me that they were running secret covert missions, and they had people throughout the years try to become Captain America, but without the public the public knowing this knowledge.
Yeah,
I think that's 100% possible, and that's them kind of hinting on with that, but still getting ridiculed by the other inmates who don't know about this stuff, right?
I say give us a Red Guardian movie where it's back when he was in his like fighting prime.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
Oh, and then like shot for shot redo what they just talked about in the prison cell, like with him fighting off Captain America. That'd be pretty gnarly. I'd like that.
Yeah.
But he gets a mail call. He goes over. It's a Red Guardian doll action figure. Head pops off. There's an earpiece. Puts it in. It's Natasha and Yelena, where they're like, "We're gonna break you out of here. Just follow us and don't make a scene." What does this man do right away? Makes a fucking scene. Punches out dudes because they're eating his like sugar snacks that were given to him or something. And then creates a giant riot as somehow Natasha and Yelena were opening gates up in this very low-tech prison to let him escape. And they were tracking him through the earpiece, which I was fine with. But it doesn't make sense how this prison, which looked like it belonged in the 30s, all right? The 1930s.
It was more like a gulag than a prison. Like, it's not even technologically advanced at all.
Yeah, so I don't know how they were able to just open gates for this guy whenever they wanted to. Whatever, let's not explain it. He breaks out, it starts a giant riot, people are breaking free. This nonsensical fight scene happens where they're all fighting and stuff. Gatling gun comes out, they start shooting at Yelena. She takes a fucking rocket launcher, blows that up because they're in this Siberian gulag. So it creates a giant avalanche of snow that comes down. They pick him up. He's gone. Literally, this part meant nothing to me. They're together now, and then the comedy bits just don't stop because now the Red Guardian is nothing but a fucking joke in this whole movie, right? When we first met Alexi, still being played by David Harbour, at the beginning he was a badass action star, and now he's just a big old joke, and that's what they're going with. They continue on with this idea about the comedy never stopping because at one point Alexi's like makes a joke to Yelena. It's like, "Oh my god, are you on your period? Is it your time of the month?" And this is like, oh, this is kind of actually really important. This could be a very serious scene here, where Yelena turns around and is like, "No, I don't have my period because I had an involuntary fucking hysterectomy."
Hysterectomy.
Yeah. And like I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna get really serious about this. Or they're like, I can't have babies, and like they just can't like continue the push. I'm like, yes, don't stop with this. This is actually really. Let's talk about what the Red Room has done to these women. Like this is what when they were girls. Like this is really important. And then it turns into like they ripped out my ovaries, my uterus, and now it's just like, oh, don't tell me these things. That's gross. Oh, you know what? I was gonna start talking about these things now. My fallopian tubes. And I'm like,
I like that part.
But see, it doesn't stop though because like it continues again. It'll continue further down the road of the movie where they're like, well, I don't know where Dreykov. I think the guy's name is Ray Winston Dreykov. I don't know where Dreykov is. I was like, what do you mean? You're like his right hand man? Like, no, that man threw me in jail because I called him fat and ugly or something, or our political views didn't align. Like he just put me in jail for no reason. The Red Guardian, fucking the USSR is Captain America. I can't believe they would do this to me. Like, there's only one person that I know that would actually know the whereabouts of the Red Room because it keeps constantly moving from spot to spot to spot. We're like, who's that? It's your mama. It's Melina. Yeah, Melina. Like, oh, is Melina dead? It's like, Melina is too much of a what is it? Like a not a fly fox, but pretty much like too much of a wise individual to be killed off so easily. Let's go to her. Like, to St. Petersburg. And they're like, oh, we don't have enough fuel for that. Oh, yes, we do.
Yeah, this was.
And then cutscene to helicopter crashing.
Literally probably the dumbest fucking thing in the movie.
Yeah. Like, hard cut. Like as if it was a comedy where they're like, we'll make it. Hard cut, boom, helicopter's crashing. And it's like, are you kidding me? This is what, all right, whatever, we're doing it. They're walking down the path. We then see Rachel Weisz, Melina, tending to her pigs, super smart pigs, where they're like, go right, go left, go straight. You're like, wow, these fucking little piggies are pretty smart. Like, I like this. Is wow, look at the little piggy, that's awesome. Let's go. You then get like an alarm trigger, and I'm like, oh, please don't see like the alarms trigger. Then they're like right in the base, because that'd be a pretty shitty alarm system. No, thankfully, Rachel Weisz is smarter than that. It's like fucking a kilometer away that her alarm trigger gets off, like the sensor pulls out a giant fucking 50 caliber sniper rifle. And I'm like, okay.
That's the length of her.
Yeah, it really is. It's like, okay. I understand that you want to be prepared for anything, but if you shoot a human being with that, they are turning into dust. Like, you will see the snap. You will see, like, Thanos right there at that person, right? But they ain't coming back in 5 years. They're dead.
It's a pink mist, gray one.
So you end up by seeing through the scope where she recognizes everyone that's walking down, so she obviously doesn't kill them. They get inside the house, and then we have this like reunion of the family, pretty much, right? Where you have and for some reason, I don't know why, but Melina is holding on to Red Guardian's outfit, so he's trying to put it on in the back in the bathroom. They're all getting ready for supper and stuff, and like it's trying to be like this family reunion where they're like, no, you're slouching. I'm not slouching. Do this, do that. Oh, listen to your mother. And Natasha's like, listen, you're not my mom. You're not my dad. I was taken from, or I was abandoned on the street by my mother. I don't know who my mother is. You guys are fakes. Everything here is fake. And it gets all super serious. And Yelena is like, well, stop saying it's fake. It was real to me. This was my family. This is my mom. This is my dad. Like, I have nothing if this is all fake. And it was a very heart-wrenching moment. It was actually very nice. And that
was like the one heartfelt part of the movie, actually.
Yeah. And they didn't try to add comedy at that point. They just let it breathe. She got up and left. And then fucking Alexi's like, don't worry, I'll go talk to daughter. You deal with this one. He goes over, tries to talk to Yelena. We then have Rachel Weisz and it's getting hard trying to get all the names. So
Natasha.
Melina and Natasha are now talking to each other, and they're having more of a heart-to-heart conversation. And you actually find out that it is indeed that her mom, Natasha's actual mom, didn't just abandon her. She was paid off to keep her, like to give her away, right, to the Red Room. Kind of a weird thing when you think about it, because they have never done that as far as you could tell throughout the rest of the story. They've always abducted or stolen these kids off the streets. So it's interesting that one gets paid off. What's up?
I think it's because Natasha was part of a different program than like Yelena. Is where I think they were talking about how they were able to find certain attributes when they were a child that like she could
certain genetic
find.
Yeah. She had certain qualities that kind of made her want, like, pretty much have their own female super soldier kind of idea without the serum with Black Widow and whatnot. You then find out that her mother was actually killed because she kept on probing, wanting to get her daughter back, and then Dreykov decided to just remove her from existence because it was going to be too much notice onto the Red Room because she was persistent. This is the moment where now she realizes, oh, I wasn't abandoned. My mother tried to get me. And she also realized, well, yeah, but your mom also sold you. Like, don't forget that part. She didn't technically abandon you. She sold you out. She felt bad afterwards, after she spent her millions, but she still sold you. All right, let's not forget this part. But whatever.
Otherwise, I couldn't buy a new daughter.
So they have their heart-to-heart, and they kind of reconcile their differences between one another. We then get greeted to yet another dumb comedy bit where fucking Alexi's trying to make Yelena feel better about talking about a fishing trip he had with his dad where he got his hands fell in the water and they're gonna get frostbitten, so his dad peed on his hands because it was 35 degrees Celsius, the urine. And even the daughter's like, why are you telling me this? And I'm sitting here like, yeah, why? What the fuck is going on right now? Like, I understand David Harbour's character, it can't really relate because all he can think about is his glory days and how good he was before he had that 3-year stint as their parents and stuff. And like, they pushed this a couple times, but then he's like, fathers. I'm talking about fathers. And then Yelena's pretty much just like, you were never a dad. You said it yourself. This was just a job for you. Like for the last 3 years when you were a part of this, it was just a waste of time because you just wanted to go back to your glory days. You want to become the Red Guardian again, and we mean nothing to you. You've made that perfectly clear. And I'm like, okay, all right, a little bit more serious moment. All right, we got rid of the funny part. We're getting to the serious stuff. And we then get treated with a kind of a heartfelt moment that I enjoyed, which was to try to reach his quote-unquote daughter. Alexi remembers what Yelena's favorite song was, which is it called American Pie? I think it's, yeah. Which is like, it's a song like, I miss American Pie, you know, pull the levy to the Chevy, all that stuff, right? Whatever. That song. It's perfect, a good song. Rendition. Yeah. Weird Al did a better version of it, okay, called The Saga Begins. That's a banger right there. But anyways, they're now they're kind of rekindling with one another, and they're trying to figure out what's happening, and like they're trying to like be nice to each other. At this time, we then cut back to Rachel Weisz and ScarJo talking to each other, saying like, "Look, the Red Room. Dreykov already knows you're here. They're gonna be coming to get you guys within minutes. Like we don't have a lot of time." We then get treated to a scene where it looks like David Harbour is going to be like, I am going to be the father that I never was, or the father that I wanted to be for you girls. I'm going to defend you because all these Russians now are raiding this fucking farm. You then find out also, by the way, during the supper time, that Rachel Weisz created this concoction, this thing that controls a certain part of your brain that pretty much removes free will. She tests it out on the pigs and shows how this pig whose name was Alexi, couldn't breathe because she told it to stop breathing. And then once she said breathe again, it was able to breathe again. And that's what Yelena and all the other widows have in them. Is this fucking this toxin, whatever this was that fucked them up, where now they are literally just shells of themselves, of their former selves. And Dreykov can do whatever they want with them.
Which I felt was one of the biggest cop-outs of this film. Mm-hmm. You use the most generic thing that they've used in television and movies for the longest time. Yeah. It was all mind control.
Yeah.
Like, come on. I wish there was something a little better than that. I wasn't a fan of that at all.
Well, because again, they don't want it to be too severe and real, like what happened with the original Black Widow, right? Because the Black Widow's whole thing was like, they psychologically and physically broke her down until they were able to pick up the pieces and make whatever they want out of her. The hysterectomy scene in Avengers: Age of Ultron, when Bruce and her are having that conversation, it's so hard hitting and it hurts, right?
Yeah.
But in this film, it's a fucking joke, and it's like it's these moments where it's like they are trying to lighten up what is arguably one of the darkest fucking stories in Marvel, in all honesty, about these little girls being abducted by this secret organization and being stripped of what makes them them and any chance of having a normal life without their permission to remove the ability to have children. That is a fucked up like that should have been the movie, in my opinion. Like, really delve into this and don't be shy with it. But it's Marvel and it's Disney, and they, even though this wasn't even an origin story, to be honest, for Black Widow, because the things that those events had already transpired for her in the past sequences in the film. It's so disappointing in that sense. Yeah. But staying on track, we get the moment where Rachel Weisz comes out and she's dressed in her old Black Widow outfit, and ScarJo's like, "What are you doing?" And shocks her. She falls to the ground. Or you don't even get to see that part, I think, actually. You just see her on the ground. ScarJo. Rachel Weisz is standing in the Black Widow outfit, and she shoots Yelena with it because the moment where David Harbour's like, "Get out of here! I'm gonna defend you. You have nothing to worry about." An arrow hits him like a little dart. He's like, "I'm the Red Guardian. Do you think that's gonna?" And then like 30 more hit him, and then he just fucking falls out, knocked out, right? And I'm like, okay, that's whatever. Like, I thought that'd have been kind of a cool redemption story. Like, I think it would have been cool if he tried to fight off those guards and he died trying to protect Yolanda. I think that would be kind of a cool little, like, just a kind of a redemption arc for this man. Whatever. Yeah. Doesn't happen.
They turn into another joke.
Yeah, they turn into another fucking joke. They all get transported up in the ship. They all go towards, like, to the sky. And because, don't forget, technically, the Red Guardian is a super soldier, that fucking knockout juice doesn't last that long with him. So he wakes up, and then Rachel Weisz is like, "Did you ever wonder why you never knew where the red room was? Because it's in the sky, just like the shield was." And it's like, okay, cool, whatever. He gets drugged again, and he passes out. When he wakes up, he's in a jail cell next to Natasha. You find out Yelena is on a surgery table because Ray Winstone and Rachel Weisz are having a conversation with one another. And it's like, oh, you double-crossed them because of course you could. You couldn't stop me. I control you just like I control everyone else because I'm a madman. Ha 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 ha. You know, you think you're special, but you're not. I even have power over you because you can't hide who you really are behind your mask. And then it's because they have the fucking... Excuse me. You find out that ScarJo and Rachel Weisz swapped places, and I guess they borrowed the technology from Mission Impossible, that fucking face mask replicating thing, which also replicates voices. Somehow this sheet thing, this little sheen thing that's on her face does that, and I'm like,
they had that in Winter Soldier.
Did they?
Yep.
Okay, good, because I was about to say I don't remember ever seeing that.
It's near the end of the movie when she's they're trying to shut Shield down. She's one of the directors of Shield.
Yes.
She's playing someone else, and then she tears it off. Yeah.
All right, that's good to know because like I was saying, that is what a pull then, because that is something we haven't seen in like 6 years. What a fucking pull. Good for them to have for a hell of a callback right there. But nonetheless, it finds out that that's what's happening over there, and then Rachel Weisz is actually in the jail cell next to Red Guardian, and Alexi's trying to have this heart-to-heart with Natasha, who then the door just opens up. He's like, "I'm sorry, I've been a terrible person. You being with you, Melina and Yelena back then was like the best part of my life. Oh my god, you're beautiful people. Like, I'm sorry that I've done this to you." Door opens up. Oh, it's just a joke because it's Rachel Weisz. And somehow Rachel Weisz was able to open the gate from the other, the jail cell from the other side. Why? How?
Because she built them.
Oh, fuck off. Fuck off. It's at that time also, she has earbuds, and she's now talking to Natasha. Or no, I think she's talking to Natasha and Yelena at the same time. Alexei thinks
just Yelena.
Yeah, it's just Yelena. Okay, she starts talking to Yelena, saying like, "Hey, listen up. There's a knife in your pocket thing. Go and get yourself out," because Dreykov wants to cut open her head and figure out what that chemical did to stop that red mist that stopped him from controlling her. He wants to know what the fuck happened there and how it like what caused it. So cut her head open and figure it out from there, right? Because her brain was affected by it. Well. All we know now is that she has the knife. She cuts it out. She kicks the scientist's ass, the surgeons, and she walks off. And they have a plan. They're gonna disable the jets. They're gonna land it. I guess for Romanov, she's gonna kill Dreykov, and at this also precise time, Thunderbolt Ross is gonna come by and arrest everyone else or whatever the fuck they want to do. Also, they have the red mist. They want to rescue all those other widows that are training on the red room itself. Well, we find out after Taskmaster is revealed to be Dreykov's little girl who Natasha thought she killed, didn't. Somehow, in a 5-story explosion, both of them survived somehow. Her face got burnt. He doesn't care about what happened to his daughter. He just turned her into the Taskmaster, and that's her origin. And it's like,
So did you call who Taskmaster was at the start of the movie? Because I sure as fuck did.
I mean, the moment they kept on talking about the little girl, I'm like, please don't. Please don't do this. Don't.
The second I saw Olga Kurylenko as on the main billing cat at the very start of the fucking movie, you know, the person that we haven't seen in any trailer, we haven't seen in fuck all. You literally kind of just gave away who Taskmaster was, literally at the start of the fucking movie.
Yeah.
Like, come on, you could have left her name out and put it at the end of the end credits. Why'd you need to have her in the top billed names?
Yeah. Also,
it makes no sense.
Also, it doesn't help that both Tom and I love Olga Kurylenko.
It's true.
Well, we find out that's the daughter. Oh my god! And then he sends her out to go kill, you know, Rachel Weisz, Yelena, and Red Guardian. And Widow's like, "Well, you just did the biggest mistake possible, because now there's nothing to stop you from killing you." He's like, "Dude's like, bring it, bitch." And then she goes and tries to shoot him. She can't. Tries a knife and stops him halfway through. You find out, oh, it's because he has pheromones.
Pheromone lock. What a throwaway piece of shit fucking plot device.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Apparently, it's something again that has never been explained until just now, until just this very moment, because they needed a twist as to why, you know, she couldn't just kill him right away. Was simply because for years, with all the agents, he did a pheromone lock thing that if they smell him, then they can't do physical harm to him. Even Natasha, even though that, whatever, dude. We can make a drinking game. How many times I say whatever in the movies that we fucking review, and people would get drunk so fast. But
that's the SSNATM PUI.
That's the crossover event. Yeah. So we then find out that's what happens. So she then starts just belittling and just making fun of the guy. So he's punching her and kicking her and stuff. And it's like, why, whatever. She's just trying to seem like a badass. That seems to be working. She sees how he controls all the agents because he has a ring with a little desk and he swipes it with the ring over the thing. And that's like the key card that gave them access to everything. And we then get a flashback. She's like, yeah, well, I was hoping that you were going to do something for me type of thing. It's like, oh yeah, what's that? And then we get the flashback of Rachel Weisz and ScarJo talking about this pheromone thing, because it does make sense that Rachel Weisz would know this, seeing as how she was like his right-hand woman for years. I just hate the fact that they only bring it up now because they need it to be a thing. And they're like, oh, well, the best way to stop this is if you sever the nerve, so then you don't smell that pheromone anymore. So ScarJo was hoping that he would like bust her face open enough to sever that nerve. Didn't happen. So what does she do? She smacks her face on the table. I can't smell no more, bitch. And then
I really like that part.
Yes,
actually.
That part. If this was like known throughout the entire movie or the franchise or whatever, and then she does that, that would have been like so much better. It was still badass that she did it. And again, because she's fucking Natasha Romanoff, of course she would do something like that. Like,
and the way she says it, she's like, you know, I wish you hit me hard enough, but I guess I'll have to do the job myself. I'm like, fuck yeah, that was sick.
Yeah. And then that's when he's like, oh no.
And I like how they digitally broke her nose.
Yeah.
Like they kept it in every scene after that until she fixes it.
It was very well done. She starts beating the shit out of him. And just starts wreaking havoc. Rachel Weisz was trying to just shut down the propeller stuff. It didn't work, so she has to think of another way to do this. She ends up by finding a gun. She gets surrounded by the goons. She's like, all right, I guess I don't have a choice. Shoots a grenade into the propeller. That explodes. Starts dropping the ship because it's not exploding. And she just goes, Yelena, just to give you a heads up, you want to get out of here and find those girls soon, because we're about to have a, what is it? She says something that I've heard this before, a controlled crash or something like that.
Controlled drop, I think it was.
Yeah, something like that. So you might want to get the girls and get out of here. I'm like, all right, that part's kind of funny. And this is also when you see the action that Rachel Weisz does, which her action scenes was just her grabbing a dude's head and like fast cutting to smashing them against the railings, because they didn't do anything for Rachel Weisz to have any kind of training for this movie for choreography. So it's just like, what we need you to do is just pimp pan a couple dudes across railings. Can you do that for us, Rachel? And she's like, I'm Rachel fucking Weisz. Of course I can. And then just fucking scream. But can you stop saying cunt every time you see it? But I'm British. Cunt. 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 You know, but
that would make the movie better. We got a ton of cunts in there.
Oh my god. So they're now kind of meeting back up. Yolana's trying to find the girls. Fucking Rachel Weisz meets up with David Harbour. They're together again, and this is when Taskmaster comes back and is gonna go fight them. And again, I'm like, all right, cool. This is Super Soldier versus. Not is she a super soldier as well? Like, I don't know. She's like a robot lady at this point. I don't know. Whatever.
Mimic.
Yeah, a mimic.
That's about it.
Yeah. So it's like, all right, so it's gonna be Super Soldier versus Mimic, and what happens? I'm like, all right, here it is. This is David Harbour's redemption part, where he's gonna try and fight, and he's gonna do a little bit okay, because in my mind, it would make sense that she doesn't have any kind of archive on him. Or he decides to go like, all right, you may know how I used to fight, but here are prison rules. And like, you know, like he starts prison fighting, which would be something that she doesn't know what to do. I think that'd be kind of a cool thing. No, what we do instead is another comedy bit where fucking Red Guardian just gets his ass fucking kicked left and right. Yeah. And can we stop with the funnies?
Yeah, they build him up so much in that prison scene. He's this strong motherfucker that just breaking everybody's arms, and then the rest of the movie is just this wimp that kind of strong. That's it.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, it's aggravating. But just before Romanov can kill Dreykov, all the other widows, excuse me, come through the door and start fighting her so he can escape. And he says, no one leaves until she's dead. They're all fighting. It's kind of a messy fight scene. Some things were really cool. Other things, it was shot weird angles and like fast cutting. Romanov is getting her ass kicked left and right at the end because she just can't. She's tired. She has a broken nose. She can't just do it forever. And just as you think that it's the end of her, fucking Yolanda comes in with that red mist thing. It explodes with a grenade. Like, I guess it's like a flash grenade type of thing. And they all get hit with the mist, and they all are okay. But somehow one vial didn't break. I don't know how. One vial didn't break. Natasha picks it up. Everyone starts vacating the area. They're all running away. Red Guardian gets help from Rachel Weisz. And somehow, like, Hurricanrana's Taskmaster into a jail cell and closes the door. And she can't get out. That's where she is now. David Harbour and Rachel Weisz escape in a jet, whatever. They try to come back up to save them. It doesn't work. They have to do a crash landing. Fucking Dreykov realizes that he doesn't have his ring that Natasha has, and he wants to go back, but he can't because everything's falling apart. Natasha gets the information, I guess, like downloads the whereabouts of all the other widows. I think that's what ends up happening here.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. She gets that information, and then she tries to make a run for it. As she does, she ends up by meeting up with Taskmaster. She lets them out. And they're like, look, I know you want to kill me and stuff. I know that's what you've been programmed to, but I don't want to fight you. This is not the time. They get separated by like the fucking giant complex falling apart as it's crashing. She makes it out to like the evac airstrip area. Fucking there's Ray Winston getting in his helicopter. You got Yolanda sitting on top of one of the jet propeller things. She throws sticks or something into the... Like, I guess like those the assassin sticks.
The widow things.
Yeah. She throws those into it. It shoots her off into the sky. It definitively kills everyone in the helicopter. And they make sure that you understand that they're all dead. Because you didn't get an inside shot of the flame overtaking everyone. And then Ray Winston's glasses rotate as the fire consumes it. Sure, why not? Just to make sure you understand that he's dead. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it, but sure. She jumps off, grabs a parachute out of nowhere through a helicopter. I think she dove through or something.
It was just laying on the fucking runway.
Never mind. She just picks up a random fucking parachute, dives down, and this part, even Tracy's like, what the fuck? Is she's diving and meets up with her sister who's like falling in the air all willy-nilly, and somehow, because they don't want to show it, but somehow perfectly ties her up in the fucking parachute in nanoseconds. Like, it does not make any fucking sense how she was able to do this, but she did. Regardless, ties her up and like, all right, everything's gonna be okay now. Opens up a parachute while like rubble's falling around them. But then she notices Taskmaster is just pimping his way around, just like sliding on buildings, the pieces of the architecture as it's falling. And she's like, all right, sorry, sis, I gotta go. Boots herself off of her, and it's like, oh no, it's this moment where she's sacrificing herself. Oh, she'll die. No, she won't, because this is a past movie, you idiot. She's not gonna die. Are you fucking stupid? You know what you're watching? This happened in the past. Numbnuts? Of course she's gonna live. God, you're so stupid. Anyways, Taskmaster comes by and like spears her in the air. They have a parachute of their own. They do a crash landing on the ground, and it's still like, I don't want to fight you. Whips out a sword, and they're still gonna fight. And even though Taskmaster knows how to beat her, knows how to do it, doesn't beat her. Instead, she does a Hurricanrana thing again, even though Taskmaster knows how to do it, knows how to counter it. Grabs her arm thing, opens up a button thing that opens up her helmet, and then she takes one of the vials that she has and sprays it in her face, and then Taskmaster just falls on the ground. Just literally just drops right away. And they have this little moment where she's like, I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm sorry this happened to you. All she asks is he gone? Yes, he's gone. And then that's the end of Taskmaster. Like, she's not dead. Don't get me wrong. She's not dead. It's just Taskmaster is no more. There is no more, like, she's now a good guy, I guess. Or she's in rehab with the other widows who came by and, like, decided to revisit Yelena because they need a leader, and their leader's going to be Yelena. Thunderbolt Ross is coming by. They're like, all right, we're going to arrest you now. ScarJo gives another vial that she had. I guess she had another one to give to Rachel Wise, who then, like, you can synthesize this, make more, and save all those other girls. And then they all separate while ScarJo hangs back to talk to Ross. Credits. Yep. Then, get a cutscene at the end, right? Because it's Marvel. And this part was kind of nice and touching. I liked it a little bit, all right? Where we get to see Yelena pull up a truck, gets out, has a dog that she calls Fanny, and that's a little Easter egg, a little nod that at the beginning of the movie, with all the fake identities that ScarJo had, one of the names was Fanny Longbottom. And now they named the dog Fanny. Whatever, I'm actually okay with it. She goes out to the graves and to like this little cemetery type of thing. And the best way to describe it, I think it's supposed to be, I don't know if it's exactly where her mom died and got buried, but it's something similar to that, where she is buried next to some like cherry blossom trees or pink blossom trees, and it says, you know, Natasha Romanoff, because now it's present day, daughter, sister, Avenger. There's a bunch of stuff there, and she's placing, Yelena's going around like kind of, you know, fixing it all up, and it's actually really, it's heartbreaking. It works for me here. And like, it looks like Yelena's about to cry again because, you know, she misses her sister that she just got back. And then fucking comedy again. Fucking there goes Louise. Oh my god, I forget her name, but she was in Seinfeld. She's a great
Julie Louis-Dreyfus.
Thank you. She comes in and she is the character that you, I think, was supposed to be introduced in Black Widow first. And then you see her again in Captain Falcon, or whatever, Captain America, whatever, fucking Falcon in the Winter Soldier. My brain broke there for a hard second. God damn. Anyways,
Captain Falcon.
Yeah. Where we were introduced to her here, which I think is supposed to be the idea of like this is her first introduction, and she is now like the new Sam Jackson, like the new Nick Fury, where she's gathering all these people up, basically making her, I'm guessing what it's going to be, her own Dark Avengers is the idea.
I thought it was supposed to be like the Thunderbolts team.
Oh, it could be the Thunderbolts, the Thunderbolts team, but I was thinking that was his own thing potentially, because they haven't talked about how those two are related to one another yet. Right?
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe it was like their own version of the Dark Avengers, because they have the Patriot, right? You have Kurt Russell's son. I can't remember his name right now, but That's Kurt Russell's son who plays the Patriot. You now have Yolana. They're gonna get other people probably. If it is the Thunderbolts guys, they're gonna get someone from like the Arctic thing, whatever it's called, like that jail cell that's in the middle of the ocean.
The raft.
The raft. Thank you. They might come from there. And the only reason why I don't think that it's the Thunderbolts is because that's where oh my god, I'm forgetting everyone's names. The purple mask dude inside of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Zemo,
thank you.
Zemo.
I was gonna call him Nemo. I'm like, that's not Nemo. I know it's not Nemo, but Zemo gets sent there, and I think he's a part of the Thunderbolts. But it'd be weird that Zemo, the Patriot, and Yolana were all together. I think that would be kind of weird, especially considering how much the Patriot wanted to kill Zemo, or at least capture him. I think that'd be kind of weird. Anyways, fucking Julia Louis-Dreyfus is there, and she fucking blows her nose like, I'm sorry, it's just the allergies. Oh my god, the Midwest. It's a joke because I'm Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And it's like, what the fuck's going on? And they're just like, I'm on vacation and you're not supposed to bother me. And then it's just like, I want a raise. It's like, what the fuck is going on right now? It's like, don't we all, honey? Oh, how about this? How about I give you this? The person who killed your daughter or your sister, excuse me. I'm like, what? No one killed Natasha. What are you talking about? And it's a picture of Cliff Barton, whatever his name is. And that's the setup. And that's the setup for the Hawkeye TV show. And I'm like, fuck off, dude. We didn't need this. Fuck off. If you didn't have anything good, you could have just had ending piece of her paying her respects to her sister. And it would have been
That's honestly what it needed.
And just stopped it. But because you're Marvel and you need a fucking joke and you need to set something else up for the future, you have that. You could have even just had her, after paying respects, you see, a fucking Valentina, that's her name, Valentina next to her car, and you just cut to black. You didn't need this actual fucking interaction where you cut the tension, this emotional moment with your fucking stupid joke.
They never give Black Widow the what's the term I'm thinking of? Like
a proper send off?
Her yeah, she never had the proper send off. Tony Stark got it, even Captain America kind of had it.
Yep.
Black Widow is just kind of, that's it.
She died in a ditch. And the only two people that really clear are fucking Cliff and Banner. That's it.
Yep.
They're the only ones who really felt something after she died. Not Captain America, who's known her for God knows how many movies and who's helped him out countless times. Not Iron Man, not Tony Stark, who's known her since like Iron Man 2. No. Just Cliff and fucking Banner. That's it. That's so dumb. Yep. Anyways, that is Black Widow 2021. Here we go. This is gonna be interesting because of all the garbage movies that we have seen and how we're gonna rate this. Tom, we're gonna do maybe one extra thing in this. All right.
Okay.
Black Widow 2021. Would you? And we're gonna go through it all. How would you rate it on a score of 1 to 10? Would you recommend? This is the extra part. Buying this early, renting it, buying it, and when it gets released, or just watching it on Disney Plus.
See, I love Marvel movies, so I'm probably gonna buy it anyway.
Okay.
I need it just to have the collection.
Now you're talking about physical collection, though, right?
A physical collection. That's just the collector in me, though. Yeah. I would say, well, if you're really hurting for an MCU movie, I would say get it or rent it, but wait 3 months and it'll be on Disney Plus for free.
So for those who might be a little bit unaware, if you were to get this now, you own it. Like you own this on Disney Plus. You just have to pay the premium fee for it, right? So for in Canada, it's $34.99. It is now yours. It is locked onto your account. And it is now a part of your library on Disney Plus. Or you could wait, like Tom said, 3 months from now when they finally release it to the public on Disney Plus for free. Well, for free in the sense that you pay the subscription for Disney Plus.
Yeah.
Or you could buy the physical copy or it on like Google Movies or YouTube Movies now or Amazon Prime. You could get it there if you want. All right. Now, you're saying you're basically saying wait for it to come out for Disney Plus without the premium access. And if you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna buy the physical copy or buy a copy of it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like that's just the collector in me,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah. What would you give this movie as a rating of 1 to 10? Now, again, don't think about the other movies that we've reviewed, which we can't compare these two, because if that's the case, this is Citizen Kane compared to all the other ones. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So
I would say in like 1 through 1 to 10 in Marvel movies, I would give this one a 6.5.
So you would give it a 6.5. Now, here's my thing. All right. In general, not considering it being a Marvel movie, what would you rate this? Would you still give it a 6?
I would say 6.5. Yeah.
6.5? Okay, for both. All right.
Like it was entertaining, but it wasn't what it should have been. It should have been much more.
Okay. I think I agree with Tom. I think that you should let this come out without the premiere access on Disney Plus. If you are hankering for a movie to watch in theaters, for those who can, right? Yeah, I would choose this over Fast 9. Fast 9 just looks like a heaping pile of shit. I think this would be a better choice. Would I recommend buying it? No. I think just having it on Disney's enough. Disney Plus, you'd be fine with that. My rating for this movie, I think the comedy kills it for me, Tom. It really does. Like
it certainly didn't help things. That's for sure.
I mean, the cast is amazing. It's an amazing cast. They had great chemistry. The story was a little. They had a lot of MacGuffins in the movie, like these last minute additions, or this like, what, you can't hurt me because I have a bullet. I have an invisible shield that's protected against women. Like they had some of that dumb bullshit where like it's kids making up excuses why they can't win, or they can't lose. You know, like, oh, I'm fireproof, I'm bulletproof, I'm waterproof.
No, you didn't hit me.
Yeah.
You didn't hit me.
Yeah, they had a lot of that. Yeah, I think I'd give it I think I'd give this, honestly, I'm torn between a 5.5 or a 6. I'm looking, you know, for a Marvel movie, it's, you know, I'll give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I think that's
okay.
Because I'm thinking back at other movies within this franchise as well. Like, I'm thinking back at, technically, The Incredible Hulk is a part of this franchise. It's technically part of the MCU, like the Edward Norton one. I'm thinking of Thor: Dark World, and this movie is not a Thor: Dark World. I can say that much.
No,
it is not. So I can't, in good conscience, do that. I think for both, like overall as a film, and as an MCU movie, a 6 out of 10 I think is fine. That will do it for this week's SNATM, where unfortunately this means that we will be returning to the Resident Evil franchise unless something else big comes out.
Don't make me do it.
Tom and I will have to figure out exactly when we can officially have like a steady schedule again. It's going to be a bit harder because Tom is on shift work. We will figure out a time frame, and we'll sketch it out, and we will let everyone know when those days are happening. But for now, I've been me. That's Tom. Thank you everyone for joining. One day we'll get to Endgame or something. We'll get to a movie that we just really like. But until then, we love y'all. Take it easy. Bye.
See ya.